We made the funny joke a couple episodes ago about this is your brain on drugs. Well, today, this is your body on drugs. I mean, kind of a worse effect, right? And we've been talking a lot about what playing an instrument does for your brain and your emotions. But today, I want to talk about your body because there's a whole set of physical benefits most adults have never even heard about. And some of them, honestly, are remarkable. I know I sound hyped up on these episodes, but I am super excited about this new research. It is important, it is timely, and in the environment that you are in right now, just think of something that could increase your brain, your body, your emotions, your connections, and your quality of life. Why wouldn't we get excited about that? I'm excited about it. That's why that's what I do all day long, every day. We're talking about your hands, your posture, your immune system, the connections that happen from brain to body, and what happens to your body's physical capabilities when you keep playing as you age. If we haven't met, I'm EP Archer, and I help committed adults improve their quality of life with music. We're in day 3 of our 6-episode arc on why playing an instrument changes everything for adults. Today, we're talking about your body. Now, some of these studies might seem crazy to you because when we have physical limitations as humans, some of our first reaction can usually be to limit activity, to do less, to stay to what we know and not take a risk, and to be very, very careful, right? And those are fear-based solutions. They are limiting, they are compacting to who you are in the world. But I would challenge you to just be a tiny bit open. I remember when I was really heavy into Kung Fu, I was super not feeling well, like really bad. And my Kung Fu teacher, I was like, oh, I'm not going to be at Kung Fu today. And my elder master teacher was like, hey, the best thing that you can do when you're sick or you don't feel well is to exercise your body. It clears the toxins. It removes those limitations. And previously, my mindset had always been like, you're sick and you lay in bed and you sniffle and you have the soup. You can barely move, right? And that changed my mindset, and I love that now. And it's something that I wouldn't have, I would have naysayed or not thought was possible. But having that fire in your bones and being able to clear your body at whatever level that you can is amazing. And so these studies are along that lines. So for example, osteoarthritis, if we have something going on like that, we're probably thinking of limiting action, that we can't do as many motions. And what they did was they studied adults with osteoarthritis, and they did 30-minute instrumental sessions, 4 days a week for 4 weeks. And the results were decreased arthritic pain, increased dexterity, and increased finger strength. And that is only for 4 weeks. And it's only 4 days a week for 30 minutes. Very minimal investment. That's kind of like our minimum for adults. We say, hey, yeah, if you're going to do this 4 days a week, it's kind of like your minimum, right? Very mild. You know what else gets improved from playing music? Dexterity from an instrument. It assists you with activities of your daily life, buttoning a shirt, using a remote, writing. And when you age, you want to have independence and freedom and experience and activities. I've been so privileged to meet people lately that work with people who are pre-retirees or half retired or getting just retired, and their quality of life isn't really enhanced by just entertaining themselves or even just going on trips or doing things. Their quality of life increases when there is something meaningful and growth-oriented. That's why so many business people who retire just end up starting a new business. They sell the business, they retire, and within a couple years, they crave that growth. They crave that going from A to B. And having tons of fun and traveling around doesn't create that for the brain. But you know what does? Playing an instrument. And you know what you can take with you all over the world? Your violin, your guitar, your instrument. And so when we think about independence and freedom and the quality of life that we want to create starting now, whatever age you are, maybe if you're just in your 30s, this isn't on your radar. But in your 30s, what is on your radar is something that's a gentle activity that is going to increase your quality of life and your relationships now, but also prevent for the future. And if you're just starting an instrument and you're 60, it is not too late. My oldest starter is 78 years old. And I have had several starters in their 70s, and the smile on their faces, even when they're making a sour note or they can't quite get the bow right, is irreplaceable. Let's talk about your immune system. Who's got your vitamin C or your herbs, or what do you do for your immune system? After COVID, we started talking about the immune system a lot because it's very important to keep a high immune system. I've always had the pleasure and joy of working from time to time with kids, and so I feel like I have a pretty solid immune system, and I'm a cancer survivor, and so greens and vegetables and those kind of things are an important part of building my immune system. But what about music? Does music help our immune system? Can playing an instrument do that? Well, here's the thing. We talked about stress last episode. Stress negatively impacts our immune system. And because music lowers cortisol, playing an instrument lowers your cortisol, it also reduces immune suppressing effects of chronic stress, which is major disease risk. You are lowering your risk of major disease. You are boosting your immune system through the lowering of cortisol. What else? Music has been proven to reduce anxiety, heart and respiratory rates, and blood pressure. This is data. It's measurable, biological, physiological change. And let's be honest, the change in all different phases of our life, whether you're just buying your first home or just starting a family, or your kids are getting ready to graduate and grow up and leave the nest, or you're a retiree, or you're entering into your sunset, amazing winter years of life, change can be frightening. It can be scary. It can be unsettling. But we all know that in those moments that we are uncomfortable, in those moments we're willing to change, and those moments we are willing to take a risk are how we grow. And if we continue to grow throughout our life with music, with our instrument as our guide and at our side, it's not so scary after all. If you want to increase your posture, your breathing, your gray matter, your hand-brain coordination, music does all of this. So how exactly does all that help your body? Well, when you play an instrument, it requires good physical alignment, especially if you're a string player. That alignment carries over into your daily life, opening up your core, shoulders back, being able to create those positive chemicals in the body that create confidence and wellness. As a string player, you're learning to coordinate your breath with your playing. And as a wind player, you have to use your breath in order to play. Activates your diaphragm, it slows the breath, and it oxygenates your body. The more oxygen in your body, the more oxidation, the less acidosis, the healthier you are to prevent disease. And you do this every time that you play, the same way you would with breath work and intention. Musicians also show measurably greater gray matter in motor, auditory, visuospatial regions of the brain compared to non-musicians. And if you haven't labeled yourself as a musician yet, if you play an instrument, this applies to you. It's structural, it's physical, and it's visible on a brain scan. Don't forget hand-brain coordination, because you're getting trained for independent finger movements, independent arm motion, and the complex types of motor skill that maintains capability into older age. And it's the same capability that those not playing an instrument lose. And if you or anyone you know has gone through a stroke, training of musical instruments has been used in stroke rehabilitation to help recover motor function in affected hands. There's published research that supports this. And this same mechanism that rebuilds skill is rebuilding this function. So, y'all, every time you pick up your instrument, you're doing something physical. You're training your hands, you're working your breath, you are establishing neural pathways, you're keeping motor skills sharp. You're giving your immune system a break from cortisol. This is not passive. This is not indulgent. This is one of the most physically proactive things you can do for a body that's going to need to work for you a long time yet. So here's how you can apply it today. Pay attention to your breath as you are playing. Are you holding it, or are you breathing consciously? This amplifies the physical benefits of your instrument. And if you're a string player, that might be something that you haven't done before, or that you could work to improve that would make a huge difference. Notice your posture when you're playing. Are your shoulders back? Is your head balanced on the spine? Your instrument can be a posture teacher if you let it be. And good posture isn't just about feeling good in your body. It's about creating those confident chemicals that help us to walk forward in life with a great attitude and great success. You've been doing physical therapy all along and just not calling it that. Music is physical therapy, and every practice session is an investment in the version of yourself that your 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s still has the hands, breath, and brain to play. Hey, if you're an adult and you're over 30 and you're playing the violin and you want to get better tone and feel confident in the way you play, we have a super special offering. Free group for you to learn about our method, somatic resonance for violin, where you can finally unlock violin for yourself, not by yourself, but in a group of committed adults. Join us with the link. I can't wait to see you there. Your best music is on the other side.